Computer. Are you good? Okay. Hi, Dad.
Hey,
Hi. I am so excited to have you. I just want to introduce you. You guys, I am so happy today. This is my friend Dab, and he takes the most incredible and amazing images. He has contact with multi-terrestrial beings, and he's capturing sentience in the sky when he takes these photographs. And I just had to, plus, he's an amazing astrologer as well. And so,
oh,
I was excited. Um, I was just want to explore your work, Brad, if that's okay. And maybe
sure.
if I can just turn the reins over to you and you can show us what you've been working on for the last
Awesome.
at least couple years. I feel like you and I have loosely
Yeah.
known each other and been acquaintances.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was amazing. When I first met you, you introduced me a lot to the galactic side of the astrology, and that piqued my interest a lot. And it actually makes a lot of sense what you kind of did the reading for me, connected a lot of dots. And since then, man, I've been having some crazier experiences, but the experiences have just been ramping up even more now that we're getting to this new timeline on this new Earth that we are all heading to. So
Yeah.
this is very, very exciting.
Well,
This is
thank
something.
you. You were one of my first clients that I did. And so that was really exciting. That was an honor and I appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate you. It was amazing.
Oh, thank
It was
you.
amazing reading. Amazing reading. It got
Thank
me my
you.
piqued my interest for me to get into galactic astrology. That's how good it was.
I
So I
love
was
it. When you brought up fixed stars when you were on Robert's show, I was just doing cartwheels. I was so excited. It was awesome. It's so
oh,
awesome.
that's
Um,
awesome.
okay, maybe I'll just turn the reins over to you. And if you want, you can kind of show us what you've got.
Okay, sure.
Okay,
So
thank you.
so basically starting, I was here. Starting, I was my journey started spiritually about a couple years ago. I was pretty much a religious Christian kid. I believe in God and everything, and I was always told by my mother that I would always have some kind of impact in the world. A psychic told my mother this when I was a kid, and I always had this ability to kind of discern and read people, but I didn't know that that was my gift. That's part of my gift is that. And you kind of actually helped me realize that with one of your readings, finding out that my one of my gifts is that because of, and then the fact that I'm super empathic because my degrees are at 0 degrees. I mean, it's literally, I feel everything. So I learned doing this that I was really sensitive to energies and I started seeing things around 2019, 2020, I think was when the veil started getting lifted from me. And when it got lifted, it was like an energetic shield that comes off, and it's like the first layer. And what I mean first layer is there's steps in self mastery for every category that we have in our life that we do energetically. Seeing, teaching, transmuting, whatever it may be. There's it's like a video game level mastery. So they took off that first level for me, and I noticed things in the sky, and I would always pray for discernment and all these other things, not knowing I already had these things. And the people around me weren't seeing it. And I was I was labeled as the crazy alien guy and seeing different things in the clouds. I would see eyeballs. And I was astonished that when I would see these things, um, my friends that were standing right next to me, I'm pointing at the things, they couldn't see it. And I didn't understand at that time that that's why they couldn't see it because their veil wasn't lifted for them. So they're just seeing regularly clouds. And even in the pictures after I take them, they were still just seeing clouds. And that was an interesting aspect because dealing with that and then coming to your own realization spiritually that, like, hey, you're seeing something, it didn't verify it to me until one day these beings came down into the physical reality and and met me in person. And that was kind of wild, like as orbs and talking to them. And that changed my whole perspective of everything. because I at first, I saw UFOs. We all were looking to see UFOs on YouTube, and I never seen one in person until this time. And then when they physically came down, um, as like light orbs on the ground level, it's like 15 of them.
This is
Yeah,
really awesome. I'm like
yeah,
filled. Sorry for interrupting you, but I can feel that.
yes.
That
Oh, dude,
excitement, that
it was like
exhilaration.
a lion being, a bunch of different beings. I think my grandmother. There was like a bunch of people like that was down. There was like 15 of them, and they all
Wow.
lined up in on the field. And I have a video of this, um, on my page somewhere. I have to find it, but it was nuts. It was strobing lights, and when I would talk to them, it was telepathic. So like the lights would strobe, and I can hear what they're saying. So it would be like, "Hello, Brad," or it would be like, "How are you?" It would be like that, and I'm sitting there. I thought I was tripping. And I was talking to him for an hour about how the world needs to change, and if I had the power to change it, I would. And they were like telling me that he would be assisting me, and my mission on here. My mission is just getting started, and part of it is to show people that they exist and that they're here with us, assisting us, and they're not just in the clouds, but they're in everything. Everything that you can perceive in this reality, they're in. They're on our skin. They're in the trees. They're on the grass. Um, they're in everything. So,
So, can I just time out for just a moment and
mhm,
ask you a couple of questions, or would you like to
mhm,
continue
sure,
on?
sure.
And then, okay, wow, because that's just so much there that you just unpacked. So, back to the orbs. Oh, first of all, let's go back to when you were seeing things in the sky and your friends were. I'm looking at you here. I ha- so if
Oh,
I'm
okay,
looking down, it's because I can see your face here. It's
okay.
on my
I
computer.
got you. Yeah, same.
Yeah, I'm
So if
not
I'm
looking
looking down, I'm seeing
away.
your face here too. So,
That must have been just wild. Like, just I can understand. I just want to stay there for just a second because I
sure.
feel like that may be a hindrance, if you will, for those maybe non-believers is not to we're trained not to feel into what an experience looks like.
Yes,
And
programs,
yeah, we're
extremely,
programmed,
extremely programs. Like
completely
pop
programmed.
culture does that a lot for us and programs us for us to see. Like we expect an experience with these beings and a contact to be
Mhm.
a certain way, like the movies and like Little Green Men and all this. But you got to understand some of these beings that are here are 12th density, ninth density, high density beings. They don't even have literally a physical body and they're conscious. So they're literally energy, plasma, light, and they're multidimensional, meaning they're Meta-Terrestrial beings, meaning they don't go on the laws of physics, time, or space. They can appear in multiple dimensions at once, and they can appear anywhere and anywhere at the same time. So when they appear in front of you, it's like it's like they can be, their time doesn't exist for them. So they can basically watch you in the past, present, and future all at the same time, if you put it in that perspective.
So when you refer to multi-terrestrial, you're using it the same as multi-dimensional, is that correct?
Meta-Terrestrial.
Or meta, I'm sorry, meta-terrestrial.
Yeah, Meta-Terrestrial. So,
Okay.
so okay, so extraterrestrial, in my perspective, are beings that exist on. So it's Terra. It's beings that from other lands of Terra in this realm. So
Okay.
in a sense, like the other realms that's here on this planet, those beings would be extraterrestrial because Terra being Earth and extra lands, extra, so extraterrestrials, people from other lands. But meta terrestrial beings are beings that don't necessarily need the constructs of this realm and this dimension. They literally exist in multiple dimensions and they can be in multiple places at the same time. They could be in the past, present, or future. Time doesn't exist for them, and they can see all outcomes of everything all at once, and that's how I think they're able to place themselves in your timeline for you to see them and interact with them because they know what you're going to do and where you're going to be at the right time to kind of get that synchronicity to see them.
Would you say that like angelics or blueprinters and these
Absolutely.
like yeah, like high councils,
Hmm.
these would be the meta-terrestrial that
Yes.
don't have they're not down in the like fifth. Well, I don't know. I kind of perceive like density as beginning to manifest in like the sixth and fifth dimension. What are your
Hmm.
thoughts on that?
Um, so fourth dimension, the Earth right now is in fourth density
Hmm.
consciousness of the whole Earth. We're right now in the middle of fourth density. So everybody collectively is seeing when you cross into fourth, it begins to find out more neutrality. You start seeing the ET realm and the spirit realm
Hmm.
merge together. So spirits and ETs are in the same realm. So they kind of look like apparitions in a sense for some people, orbs. That's in that realm. And then our bodies are actually meant to go up into 12D. A lot of us are, since we are spiritual batteries and ascended masters ourselves, we can rise up in dimensions and densities and go down in dimensions and densities at will. We do it all the time. A lot of us exist in a higher than fifth and sixth density just living. But we don't know it. We don't know that we're actually there. And then
Right.
we lower ourselves and our consciousness back down to the state that we're in. But a lot of us are existing in that. And I feel that we can exist up to 12th density consciousness in this physicality before we become energy ourselves and a light body. And then once you get past the 12th density, you would go to the original flames of the universe. And that's what it goes to the indigo and the emerald flame. And then 15th density is source or God.
Mhm.
And once you get there, that's where all these beings are doing. They're all working together to get to this back to the creator. Um, and they all are helping us because they need us to kind of ascend so they can ascend. It's kind of like
So
a helping chain type of deal. And but a lot of these beings that we're seeing are angelic, orphan, um, multidimensional beings. I've seen Lyrans, felines. I've seen Syrian beings, Andromedans, Palladians. Like the Palladians look exactly like what we thought they would look like. I've seen them. I've seen beings with hats on, cowboy hats, and they come on with accessories and they all come together. And I didn't at first when I first was coming online with this, I told them and I told myself I want to see it all. Like I want to know if this exists, and they didn't disappoint. They even showing me
so
everything. I think
so after you saw all of these orbs, your experiences started increasing.
yes. So okay, so after I seen these orbs for that
Mhm.
time, that was like the first kind of initial time they started coming and experiencing things in the daytime, nighttime. It didn't matter. But that during that summer, they were coming to me every night, um, in the fields and into my property. I was living on a farm, and I documented all of this
This was
because
in
I
Colorado.
yes, this is when I was living in Colorado.
Hmm.
I'm currently in Florida now,
Hmm.
but they were coming to me every night. I'm talking about like coming across so what they can do is, which is really fascinating, is they can hop into lights and because they're energy their self, and they can astral project those lights anywhere they want. So they can, if you see a street light a mile, 2 miles away, they can hop into that light and make that light look like it's moving across the field or like right in front of you.
Hmm.
And they did that a few times with the lights that are miles away out in this prairie land in Colorado. And we were like the only house on the street for miles, farm, and there's no lights out there. So the fact that they were able to do that was magical. And then from what they show you during the daytime, which they showed me that they also have control over a lot of things we deem natural, like the sun is a conscious being. Uh, the earth is a conscious being, as we know, and they can take the sunlight and they can take certain clouds and kind of redirect the sunlight so it shoots into like a beam, like one of those like light beams with purples in it and the beautiful colors, and you'll see it like a streak in your pictures. But that's literally them, and they can use that to kind of project themselves or shoot light codes, or sometimes you'll
Wow.
see orbs from that. And they showed me that one day, and that was probably one of the greatest days of my life because I saw three Palladian beings when they did that, and
Wow.
I've never seen that in my life.
That's
Um,
amazing. So they're like using the clouds to almost communicate with light to you, to
yes.
us.
Hmm.
Wow. Wow.
Absolutely. And they can
And
talk to us through numbers, using numbers, different things, downloads with us. They can talk through people. They can give people different downloads. If you match their frequency, then their downloads unlock and you can be able to do certain things or get remembrances and synchronicities from that. And it's wild. And then when I really came into it, I was taking pictures of tons of clouds. I think my drive has so many cloud pictures. Google's probably like, what is wrong with this guy? Of all these cloud pictures. But when I discovered
wow.
mirroring, that's where it took it to another level of my seeing thing. And that's when you can start seeing faces and the different beings, and then you can start interacting with them and asking them to do stuff. Like I would ask them, hey, can you guys smile and give them peace sign in the next picture I take or the next set? And they'll do that. They did that. They were like, smile and give me the peace sign, or they would respond to me. And sometimes I wouldn't even know. I'll ask a question of something for them to do something, not knowing that they already knew I was going to ask that question. And I already had the answer to what I asked in one of my photos. I just haven't got to it yet.
Wow. That is so cool. I was thinking about you the other day because there was some cloud formations. Like they were next level. It just didn't look, it was literally a beam as the sun was setting. There was like a straight shot of a cloud beam, like going straight up. It was just
Oh,
the most interesting thing. It was like one sun ray.
interesting.
Huge. Yeah, it was really interesting. I'll send you a picture. But I heard you, and correct me if I'm wrong. Did you say that there's 80 new cloud formations? So,
So they updated to like
wow.
30 new cloud types within the last 3 years to the cloud registry. Um, since this started, since when C19 started, 2020, they updated the cloud registry with 30 new cloud types. Yes, and they
So,
didn't have an explanation of why they did this. They just randomly happened. Now, I believe that they did this because they knew these beings were here, and they didn't want people to freak out. So they get, the quickest thing they can do is put a scientific term to it and tell people, hey, these are new clouds. Nobody's seen these clouds ever before, these kind of cloud types ever. And then all of a sudden they just randomly show up. That's kind of weird. You know what I
interesting.
mean?
Wow. Yeah.
And they're definitely some of them look like angels, fairies, dragons. And the perspective is when these beings show up, um, you're seeing everybody's not wrong on what they're seeing because it's literally a bunch of different beings stacked on top of each other in different directions. And so one person from one angle could be seeing a dragon or a dog. Another person across the street could be seeing an angel or a fox. And that's how they come in, stacked on top of each other in different directions. So when you mirror it and you flip the pictures or invert them, you start seeing the individual beings in your pictures. And what verifies it is the fact that you'll have a picture that you'll mirror and you'll see like 10 beings in there. And you can flip it upside down and you'll get a different set of beings with the same dimensions. The dimensions don't change. Same dimensions, different beings. That's the multidimensional aspect. And I'll show you.
Wow. Yeah. Can we look at some of your images?
Yeah,
This is just fascinating. I love it. Because now I'm looking at the condensation in the air as like a layer of language. You're helping me just to see things very differently right now.
okay. All right. So this is my Telegram page. It's a little easier kind of see now. A lot of the pictures we take are trying to show people what to look for. Like in
Hmm.
these kind of pictures, you can see you enhance them. The reason we enhance our pictures and contrast and stuff is because these beings they exist in an invisible light spectrum that we can't see with our naked eye. I think the human eye can only see 2% of all the known light spectrums in the universe. So that's a lot of
Crazy
light
things.
spectrums that we can't see. So
Yeah.
using our technology to contrast, saturation, we can adjust and be able to see them. And going into this here, I'll show you one of these here. So this is a picture I took the other day. And you can kind of see here, there's an eyeball right there in the middle of the screen. It's got all, you know how it's all different types of clouds in here. You got different
Mm-hmm.
shapes and letters, and you can kind of see the face in there. Now, when you mirror the photos, you don't. A lot of people don't have to mirror because depending on where they're at spiritually and and because everybody's on their own different levels, but we're coming to the
Mm-hmm.
same path. They can then some people can see the faces in this right now and see beings in this right now. And when you mirror it, all we're doing is we're verifying what we're seeing is there. And when we do that, they'll meet us halfway and show us more because we're using our technology and setting the intent to see them. So here's the picture, and here's it mirrored inside. And now you can see there's a whole being here. There's a couple of beings. There's a feline at the top here. Let me see if I can pull this out. Right here. There's one here. One here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, it gets even more crazier once you start to.
They're so clear when you mirror them. I mean, I was
Yeah.
definitely seeing things on the first image, but it's it's striking.
Mm-hmm.
It's striking.
There's another one.
Wow.
It looks like she's wearing a crown. The being it's in the middle, but actually her crown is another being. So like that's what I realized with these Meta-Terrestrials is they are working all together to protect themselves as an image. There's no being that's above or below them. They're all neutral. They're all balanced, and they all need each other to kind of project this image. Because if one being is missing, then the whole image doesn't go right, doesn't look right. So they kind of have to work with each other here. Um,
What a beautiful way of thinking about that, Dab. I love that. That's
yeah,
gorgeous.
yeah. Okay, let me show you something here. I have a bunch of them that I just took recently. Here, let's go back to here. And you're in for a treat here because I just took these. So I just found this out the other night. And I take a lot of pictures, as you can see.
Wow.
Okay, so this was a night shot I took with my phone with no clouds. Okay, so there's no clouds in this. You can see the stars all in here. And you can kind of see them in here already. You can see the colors, the purples, the greens. Now, I did bring it the contrast out a little bit so you can see the greens and purples, but and you can kind of see them in here. And then I mirrored this, and you can kind of see them in here in the sky. So they're above us regularly, um, doing certain things. Here you go.
Wow. That is so pretty. It almost looks like, oh, well, I'm sure this is relative, but I see a lot in there.
Yeah, yeah. There's multiple beings in this.
Yeah.
And then
Wow.
I mean, not including the bigger being that you see, but there's like a lot going on in this, and on the sides, and they all kind of come together to kind of create this image
This is just
to formulate. And this is without any clouds. This is just etherically in the sky. And what I believe is what they're doing is um, they're around us all the time,
Mhm.
and some of their ships can project their face on the side of it. So um, we're seeing a projection of them in the Earth grid, in the grid that's above us. And it's amazing. It's amazing that they can do this. Um,
It's so beautiful. It's
oh,
so beautiful. Wow.
frog type beings.
Yeah.
There's all types of, and I haven't seen, and since I've been doing this for the last, I say 3-4 years, and I haven't. They've showed me so many different beings that I haven't yet seen. A different. I've seen the same, some similar ones, but mainly different, like different beings each time. So they're showing me that there's so many of them here right now, which is very remarkable.
That one, this one, I or the first one that you showed of the night sky mirrored, that's what I was thinking. They look like amphibious, like almost reptilian, but like newt. And you said frog.
Yeah,
These night sky remind me of, wow, that's cool.
this one's a star that I took. And another thing that happens is they can talk to us through the stars, which aren't necessarily stars. I believe it's them and their Merkabas or light ships, but they can talk to us with these stars, and the stars actually come up. They phase out and they move around a lot, and we don't really see them moving a lot. We just see them in place because they can kind of lock in, and a lot of the times they can come out of place and they come down and talk to me, like tree level. These things, they project themselves right in front of me, and you can ask them yes or no questions, and it goes up and down for yes and side to side for no. But this star specifically phased out, and I took a picture of it, then mirrored the phased out picture, and then I ended up finding this in one of the combinations when you mirror it.
Do you know
And
what star it is?
I think it might be Sirius.
Wow.
Because and the weird part about that is in my chart I have a conjunct in Canis Major, and I also noticed that everywhere I go, I also have a couple conjuncts in Lyra. I keep seeing Lyra and Orion around me the most. Vega and Orion is always around me. Like wherever I go in the country, and I'm here in Florida now, and Orion shows up right next to me, and Vega is right there.
Wow.
So, and Sirius. So all the places I've incarnated at are literally close to me all the time. It's so weird.
This is just beautiful. The color,
Thank
I
you.
love that you're mirroring the stars. Like, wow. That
Yeah.
I can imagine that if you were to continue to, I would just think that that's like almost a new modality to explore what you're doing, or a new
Yeah.
subject, I guess it would be.
Yeah. It will change the paradigm once people realize that this exists, because once they realize that these beings exist, it changes
Mhm.
our whole reality of what we know. It rewrites the physics, the history books, everything. But I feel like that's what I was coming to. I was blocked from sharing this information energetically and physically. I believe by them at one point, and by the government, because when I first came online, I wanted to share this to the world, that they existed, and um, I couldn't share it to the world that they existed because I wasn't sure. Well, first of all, they didn't want me sharing the information yet because I wasn't ready, because I didn't totally understand what I was seeing, and it's very important to get it right, what
Yeah.
we're seeing, because this could terrify a lot of people and take people a wrong direction,
Mhm.
or do other things and harm if not done properly. So that was one thing they wanted me to totally all put the brakes on, learn as much as I can, soak up information, receive the downloads I'm receiving, and then go about it. So it took me like 2 years for me to be able to come online and start talking about it. And then I started having all these other issues with my health that had to get changed. And
Are you
now I'm better
okay?
now.
Are you
But
okay now?
yeah, I'm better now.
Okay.
That was weird. It was like a purging, I guess, of everything that when I was going through this, that I was doing at the time. I had to literally change my whole outlook, and it changed my life. It changed everything, how I viewed life, experiencing them. Um, it changed even how I was living, because I really wasn't happy before I met them, with
It
myself,
feels
with my
like,
life.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
You're good. No, you're good. Go ahead.
It feels like you have assimilated this information, like you've grounded it, and it gives you
Yes.
strength. Like you're embodying these images. I can feel it when you came on, looking at you, when you were talking. It's like you're not just talking about these beings, like you are talking these beings, if that makes sense. That's
Yeah.
how I feel you from here.
It changed my life. Interacting with them, they changed my life, getting me closer to source. God, like they helped me get closer to source, and find the answers I need. I also had to deal with my shadow self. Just learn how to balance my shadow side. We can't totally get rid of it, but because we need it, we need our shadow self. We need both halves of ourselves to complete a whole. And I was at that time I went homeless and had health problems. So I was in and out the hospital and on the streets, and they were following me around still, and I was taking pictures of them, and I was getting some pretty incredible photos then. And these are feline beings here. This one I took when I was leaving the conference in Florida and Georgia. I had crossed the Florida Georgia line and went to Atlanta to see a friend, and this being came out when I was there at my friend's house and in Georgia there. And then following a couple weeks later, this feline being came out also in the clouds. And you can see and the crazy part is you can flip this upside down and it's a completely different being with the same dimensions. And there's a little guy at the top of the screen here. He's like, oh, here's another feline.
Wow.
Female. And that was coming out of the sun.
So realistic.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got the picture where the sun, the original picture, where it's like, because I had a wide angle lens and this thing was coming out of the sun. So, and you can see half of her face in the original picture. And so when I mirrored it, I was like, wow, you can see her whole face. And there's another being in the top too. That's like the top part of her head. There's another being there. It looks like an elder, looks like another being, a younger being, and then an elder type being on top of her. Mm-hmm. But you can definitely tell
this is incredible. I mean, it's just incredible.
Thank you.
And it's so realistic. What is so incredible is that it's not just like you can see the shadowing, the depth, it's just so realistic.
And then her mouth is another being.
Wow.
So it goes into multi-dimensional aspects of this. So when we go to let's see here. Oh yeah, so here's a picture I took. I don't know if this is the one I wanted. No, it's not the one. It's gonna be this one. It's up here. It's up here. Okay, so here it is. Here's the picture of something I took the other day, and this is one of how you can kind of see them. You can kind of see like how the clouds look stringy and they are springing. You can kind of see a face right here, kind of from the side.
Yeah.
Going on, and they kind of show up themselves in here. So when you mirror it, okay, going into this one. So this is the one I mirrored, and this one looks like a fish at the top, and there's a couple other beings, but there's a bunch of beings going on doing stuff in this thing, and mirroring it, you can kind of see now. You see them in that section, and this is where I kind of feel like the Native Americans got their totem poles from seeing these beings, and that's why they made the totem poles. Because totem poles, they have like different animals stacked on each other, and that kind of reminds me of them. They look like different animals stacked on each other, and
I can totally
really see them. And they have human-looking ones, which I'm going to show you. They have a humanoid-looking one that was really blew my mind, and he's really cool looking.
God, there's so much. Like I can see multiple. I can see so many in here.
Yeah. This one looks like he's got a hat on, and the hat is a feline being, and then his hat, and then you see the one being there with his high cheekbones. His nose is another being. In the brim of his hat, the cat's mouth is another being. So you can see the cat being, which is the hat, the cat in the hat, which is kind of funny. Cat in the hat, and then the mouth of the cat is a being, and then his nose is a being, and then you got the overall face of the human type being.
Wow. Do you sell these, Dad?
What you say?
Do you sell these, or are you just sharing them, or not just, but do you share?
I just share them. I was thinking about selling them. Maybe as art pieces, because everyone's different, and they're one-to-one. They're never gonna find a you're not gonna have. I believe that everybody's gonna have a different experience mirroring. You're not gonna have similar beings because of your higher self connecting to your guides. So they're all gonna be slightly different. So I would definitely sell these with an affirmation attached to it to help whoever does buy these, because
That's
these
a great
are,
idea.
and that's something that I was thinking about doing, maybe as like an NFT or something. But I just haven't had there's so many. I have so many that it would be it's endless. There's so many of them. As you can see on the screen, 51,596. That's just what I have on my
Oh, wow.
Telegram. That's not even including what I have saved on my cloud drives.
So
And each,
people, is it, can anybody join your Telegram?
yes, and
Okay.
anybody can. And I teach people how to mirror, so you can look at beings yourself and do this.
Okay. Cool.
And
Okay.
there's so many of them that they're all around us. They're in the trees. They're in water. They're on anything natural that the sun can project on. They're in, and it's pretty fascinating.
Are you,
Once you get
have you heard of Cassie Clare?
Cassie Clare.
I'll send you. There's a woman named Cassie Clare, and she takes images as well through crystals. I don't
Oh
know
yeah.
her method or her process. Uh, Interesting. It's similar but different.
Mm-hmm.
But you saying that they're in crystals as well reminded me of that.
Yeah, they're in crystals too. I have mirrored my crystals, and they're in there. I've also mirrored my pillowcases, my arm. They're in that. I have a video where I mirrored my crystals, my pink tourmaline, and it looks like a snake, and a bunch of other beings are in there. You can see them clearly in those. And then let's see here. There's a bunch of them here. I just did. Um, you
Whoa.
kind of see them in here, looking down. Mm.
Gosh. Have you
Oh my
ever had an experience that was unpleasant with any of these?
God. So when I first came online with this, no, I can say no. I haven't had an unpleasant experience, but they did show me some stuff that existed. So one day when I first came online, and I think this is back when because I believe that there was a point where when I did wake up, there were still archons and lower astral beings that were still roaming around the planet, and they were still in the skies too, because those archons were also in our skies doing things, and they showed me that they still existed, and there was this cloud that turned into a big gray alien. Like you can see him in everything. He was like sitting there watching me, and it freaked me out. And it was like a dark gray cloud. It was like a real nasty looking cloud, like a storm. It looked like it was coming. And the front of the cloud had this huge gray alien face, and it freaked me out. And then
Wow.
they showed me that they can kind of take it away and make it go somewhere. This is also them. They're also everywhere. So you can see there's another picture one of my admins took, and you can kind of see them all up in the top there. You can see an eyeball right here, kind of manifesting in there. And this is another picture of them. They're all over the place showing us. Here's another picture of them. This is what they look like without the mirroring. So if you mirrored it, you'd see faces and different beings in this
And I can
as well.
see how they're just such unique clouds. It's like not a cumulus, it's not a Sirius. It's like
No.
they're very unique.
And they had to some of these look like one of the new cloud types. They tried to name these like that, these redonic clouds, and a lot of them I think are ships and also them. That's just how they appear to us in this density, but they don't look like normal. Um, they don't look normal. Like here's the end of a cloud here. People would just, write that off as it being
Mhm,
a cloud, but you can see many faces in this
mhm.
already. And then when we mirror this, you can see them in there. Let's
Wow.
see, let's get to another one here. This little guy. There's another
Oh,
one at the top.
that almost looks like a little elephant down there.
Yeah, it does. Little elephant guy. Here's another one. He's in the dark part,
Wow.
and they're in the trees too.
Oh yeah. Whoa.
They're in the trees here. Hold on a second. Sorry, I got a friend calling me. Let me call you right back. Can I call you right back? Call you right back. Okay, sorry, you there?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're good.
So,
And
yeah, they're all.
yeah, sometimes it looks like the whole body, like, and by that I mean like their spines, their bodies. Whoa, that one's beautiful.
Yeah, they come in very much like this. This is my friend's camera footage from her house, and I was able to screenshot this on Telegram. We were in a live, and I enhanced it a little bit, and I mirrored this to see on her wall, and you can see there's a being on her wall. And she was getting a lot of orb activity in her garage, and a lot of orb activity in her house. So there's beings. Her guides are in her house in her garage, and you can see them right here. It's literally a plasma energetic being um, floating there, and he's made of energy.
Wow.
Mm. Kind of looks like a lion wearing a helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them look like yeah, they're pretty remarkable.
They
Uh,
really are.
it gets
So
into a whole other world once we start bringing down that paradigm with this. Let me see here. There's one more sheet. I don't know if I'll load here. Yeah, like some of them look like this.
that is that in Florida?
Yes, this is in Florida.
That looks like that thunderstorm sky.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
straight up. And that's what I think they come into on is the thunderstorms, and they like to come in on when it's well, they come in all storms, but I believe the thunderstorms, especially when they come into, um, because they show up a lot in those storms as like the guy, the cornerstone coming in. And this is a friend of mine sent me this photo from outside of her house, and of course I mirrored this, and you can see this being here, and the colors is just
The
what gives me
colors, yeah.
purples and high density colors like you're talking about 12 like the 12 13 14th density, the emerald indigo flame colors they're coming in, and golden flame, like they're coming in on these colors, man. Color spectrums are
That is
wild.
gorgeous. Yeah, it really, I loved your explanation of them using the clouds to bend light for us to make themselves present. Is that
Yes.
how you were interpreting, or that's how I understood
Yeah.
that?
Yes. So they if you look at it, light is how they travel because they are light.
Hmm.
So they can literally manipulate things when they get near it, especially the orbs and the light ships, the Merkabas, when they get near stuff. Since our whole world is like it's like a plug and play conscious entity for them, they can bend light and manifest and project themselves around anything. So they, if they wanted to go, if they're like, if you see them like an orb by your tree, they can literally bend the reality around the tree and make the tree into a face. The foliage of the tree can turn into a face just by their presence being there, or sometimes even by the wind. So when you take a picture synchronistically and the wind's blowing, and you then mirror that photo, the chances of the wind being in those branches being in the exact location to form a face is like 1 in a million or something like that. And that just tells you that they're there, and they can literally bend light to their will, and they do it all the time.
Um, do you think has there been an increase in what you have been seeing with these with the Schumann resonance or these solar storms that we're getting, are they affecting at all your ability to see?
Um, well, the Schumann resonance has been, yes, it has been messing with my strength and energy. Not with my ability to see though. I've been seeing them even stronger now,
Mhm,
but with my energy, like
mhm.
the last few days since that X flare hit, my energy has been up and down. Like some days I'll be highly energized, and then other days I can't even get out of bed. I'll almost sleep all day.
Oh, same. I feel, um, I was just talking about this. What do you think about, I feel like when that happens, and this kind of leads into a question I was going to ask you anyway, because you mentioned you needed to do shadow work before you were uh, had being able to see them more or a deeper understanding of your relationship with them. I think that it feels as though sometimes these solar flares, as they're activating us, I think that they're also activating that which needs to be healed or transcended in order to be
Mhm.
living within this activation and fully assimilate that, those light codes, if you will. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I've noticed that as that happens, each time that we like move through that or we're affected by those gamma rays, that again, it's our shadowy things, the things that we need to focus on and that we need to heal is coming up also. And I feel like that causes anxiety, that causes where I think that as we're expanding and ascending and transcending, that we're interpreting those, what needs to be healed differently. And so
Absolutely.
it it's reading like I have anxiety, or I it's reading different for me, and it's easier. It's definitely easier, but every time
Mhm.
there seems to be a little bit of an upgrade, there's a little something I need to deal with,
Absolutely.
if you
Yeah,
will.
it seems like we get to the next challenge as soon as we go through one of those CMEs. And I believe it's like every CME we get, it's like strategically placed and conscious because it's like, it's another milestone of evolution for us and ascension. And then we are getting these upgrades and we have to kind of shed another part of our old self, another part of our old self. I gotta let go of something else
Yeah.
and be able to accept something else. And we're gonna constantly be doing that because everything that we once knew in our reality um wasn't our real reality. So we hold on to things that we are comfortable with, a lot of us, and a lot of us hold on to things that we don't understand, so we don't want to change, and those things don't serve us anymore. So we have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable again, and that's all a part of it. All these upgrades of us having it, like not only the physical symptoms of ascension, where you're achy and tired and flu-like symptoms, but like going through the motions and balancing yourself, learning how to deal with the things that you need to work on, being a better person, letting go of the things that you can't change, because um, we have to. Part of the living in higher density consciousness is um, being in the now, not the past or the present. I mean, or the future, but the present. Uh, what you can do now in this moment, and that's part of it because you can't go back in time and change things, and you can't go into the future and see what's going to things, but you can direct your future to where you want to go and manifest the things that you want now. And that's what it's all about. If you live in the now, then you're already living in a higher density consciousness.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's the best part. And I had to learn that the hard way. I had to learn it the hard way first because I didn't understand that concept. But then I finally got it. I was like, oh, okay. So you have to let go of things. You can't hold things on. You can't take everything with you. But then again, like, you're supposed to take in what you can. And they're constantly talking to us and wanting us to do this. And I feel like the people that see this, the people that experience these things, are soul family members and soul cluster members that are all coming online all at once and seeing this. Because I'm finding out people that have visited the galactic centers um, and or have incarnated there all have like a one up on people as far as angelic abilities and psychic abilities, because they have this kind of incarnation closer to God kind of deal where they have these abilities and their guides are kind of pushing them. But then it's like a direct correlation to that. But then also how people are able to see, because like I was wondering like how many people are activated like I was when I was activated, and I was shocked to find out there's a lot, but it's just that nobody knew how to interpret what they were seeing. Nobody was coming out and sharing these things, but then you had a bunch of people just taking pictures of the sky, and then a whole lot of people who are just seeing them as clouds. They're not seeing the individual faces in it, the colors, different beings. Only the individual was that was taking the photo. And that's because they were meant to be in that position to do it, because they were born to do it and kind of get the collective up to speed to where we're supposed to be, because we were all supposed to be doing this from the get-go. But they kind of took that away from us, the powers that be and the elites and all that, by bioengineering and all these other systems to keep our consciousness down and our abilities down that we've always had.
I love that you brought up the Galactic Center as well, and that people with incarnations or conjunct alignments to those galactic centers have are more likely to be interdimensional travelers, be able to transcend, receive those light codes. I also too, have you noticed, and do you think that, I think that the Galactic Center and then the Super Galactic and then Laniakea and
And
Shape, I
mm-hmm,
look at those as being almost a chakra system for
mm-hmm,
the divine, and that
mm-hmm.
each of those are holding records. Each of those are a point of Akash.
Ah, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you visited there or if you incarnated there, it's
Mm-hmm.
like I guess it's like a memory blueprint of something that's imprinted within you, your
Yes.
soul imprint, for you to be able to kind of initiate now, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
They
Makes a lot of sense.
the weird in with Julia Balaz talks about like those would be the blueprinters, also likely the blueprinter souls likely have those galactic power points or cosmic power points in their charts.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
interesting. And those are the people that are waking up humanity right now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of them are on social media, like yourself. Like they're out here ringing the alarm, trying to get people to wake up and see what's in front of us, question our reality. They're getting these downloads of information from these higher beings, and they are the spiritual leaders of our time right now. A lot of them
Yeah.
don't even know it though. They don't even know um, that they are. This is a being in the tree here.
Wow.
Um, so you can see a little orb right there on the left. There's an orb that came down. Sometimes they come down to me tree level, and then I caught them. I caught the orb when I took the picture, and you can see when I mirrored it, they were directly interacting with the tree. So this is the tree you're seeing being manipulated by that orb in the left there, light orb, um,
That is just
manipulating.
incredible.
Yeah, and there's another one. Kind of looks kind of a reptilianish. I do
Mm-hmm.
have Draco guides, which I found out. I do have some reptilian Draco guides. There are some good Dracos that's out
There
there.
are. Yeah, there really are. It's I kind of look at it, not to throw the ism out there, but it's like speciesism, you know? That's
Yeah,
how I interpret that when people are like, reptilians bad.
yeah,
Like,
and
I don't
that's
know
what
about
people,
that.
right? What that's what they. Well, I mean, the ones that's here are, I would say, bad because they were trying to kill us. They don't
Mm-hmm.
want us to be here. But there are Dracos that have ascended past this, past having a physical body, that are great beings, and a lot of them are warrior race type beings, especially if you're a Draco Starseed and you have a conjunct Methuban. You're like a warrior type of person. You like to fight for the underdog, you fight for justice, and Draco Starseeds are like warriors. They like to fight.
Their
They fight.
power. And another thing I noticed, that since we're on the subject of Draco Starseeds, I noticed
Mhm,
too that one of the biggest lessons that they are having to move through and tackle, and it may be a little rough, is that
mhm,
there's a they need to come to that love for self, versus, because they often come across as being narcissistic, right? Because they're bringing these
yes.
like energies in, and it's like me, but it's just like kind of, that's the nature. But
Hmm.
they need to like fall in love with themselves, because I believe that they're probably coming in, they're probably one of the, just such a persecuted species, if we will, going back to that like ism on the speciesism.
Hmm.
um i
Exactly.
I think that
100%.
they're carrying a lot of shame and guilt in their, if
For the
that's a,
collect.
if that's such a thing,
Yes. Yes,
but
it is.
something like
The
that.
karmic link to them, because
Hmm.
of the others that were doing certain things. So they're coming in with this weight on their shoulder, and they do have an
Yeah.
egotistic, narcissistic type of personality, but it's that's something that they have to learn how to
Yeah.
balance and
Yeah.
how to handle.
And how
And
beautiful and how amazing when they do, because like that's what we need right now. I feel like we need to feel protected, and how amazing just to have that
yes, and
feeling.
there's so many down here.
Hmm.
It is over 200 million, or I think it's more than that, star seeds on the planet. I think it's a lot more.
Oh yeah, 200 million.
Yeah.
Wow. Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I feel like there's probably more. And or I don't know, I feel like sometimes we're all star seeds, but some of us are coming in closer to the knowing of that.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Mm.
agree with you. I feel like we're all star seeds because
Yeah.
every person's chart I've seen, they all have a conjunct in some kind of place. And then what I'm
Hmm.
finding out also, which is also interesting, is that there's a lot of information talking about the 178 different realms under the Great Dome, and there's like lands beyond the wall, which apparently there's like lands that are named after different star systems. They all have continents and their own suns, and like we can actually go there. Like
Can you elaborate, because I don't know what you're talking about?
okay, so there's this book. It's called by Nas co-funded, and there's a couple books called Lands Beyond the Ice Wall,
Hmm.
and the Terra Infinita. And in the Terra Infinita, it talks about this guy, scientist, who's like Admiral Byrd, kind of like an Admiral Byrd person. He actually goes across the ice wall several times and voyages over there and goes to these celestial lands and meets these extraterrestrial races that are outside of our ice wall, that gave him a map and all these different things of what's beyond there. And what he found out was that our universe um, kind of looks like if you can picture a wiffle ball with a bunch of holes in it, each
Hmm.
hole in that wiffle ball is a different realm, a different realm. Each realm, you could say, like one realm for us is the known lands, and that's like our Earth that we know. And then outside of that, our realm has three other parts to it. It's bigger than what they told us. That has more continents that are bigger than the ones we know. And apparently, there's a continent of the giants, and there's a continent here of the celestial lands, and Asgard exists, and there's continents with different beings, humans that live on there. And then outside of that, our realm, once you go outside of those three rings, then there's 178 other realms like ours that all I think have corresponding names, like star names. Like there's a land of Arcturus, there's a land of Orion, there's a land of Venus, there's a land of Jupiter, there's a land of Mars, there's a land of the Anunnaki, Nibiru. and they all have corresponding different lands, continents, oceans, their own suns, and we can technically go to them. It's from what this information says in this book, like a portal.
Hmm. Wow. I've
And
never heard that. I'm gonna have to look for that. That sounds so cool.
yeah, it's
And
very interesting, and it makes me wonder if like our souls that were incarnated at these places from our remembrance, where we really like, could we really have been incarnated in these realms and been caught in these soul matrix and this spitting us back out to this inner realm here? But really, we were actually going to the Akashic records and then going into these different realms that's in our quote unquote universe. Um, because that it makes me question that, and I always wondered that. And I had a download about that because I was pointed into the right direction with information on this, and that's part of the intuitional thing, which is very weird because I noticed that people that have, and I'm going back to the astrology with this,
let's
people that have
go.
20 degrees in their Jupiter, they tend to find information on their consciousness. It tends to find them. And I always end up being lucky because Jupiter's the planet of luck. And I always want find information that just makes sense. And it's like it finds me. So this information found me. I read the book. I looked at all the maps, and I was like, man, that kind of makes sense of all of our realms, and then like the soul trap that they had us in. But when we were incarnating, we probably remembered being in these places with beaches and beautiful skylights and all this because they're real realms, they're real places. And on the map in this book, it shows the geographics of all these places. Um, so they do exist, and they just marked it as fiction to kind of throw people off. But I don't know.
Hmm.
Begs the question.
Yeah, well, especially when they're using like all of those actual known star systems or places or
Yes,
planets,
yes,
you know,
exactly.
it's really
Exactly.
hard not to like make it tangible.
Right, exactly. That's where I'm talking about making it tangible, make it make sense.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy part.
Wow, that's interesting.
Oh man. Yeah.
Cool.
I want to see more, but I
This is just, yay, there you are. Um, that's just incredible. This all of your work is just incredible. I'm,
oh
you know what? I want to say that I'm proud of you. I don't know you really, really well, but I just was just telling Erica, like, I really, really appreciate you because I've just seen you be real consistent in what you're doing. And it's it's nice to see and look, you've grown this huge body of work because I think I remember, didn't you just start that like a
yeah,
year
yes.
and a
So
half
what I meant
ago?
to yeah, about 2 years ago I just started mirroring. I was still seeing them way before that. I think I started seeing them in
Mm.
2020 and I was documenting it in 2020 to 21. But I started mirroring about 2022, a year later. And
Mm.
yeah,
Love it.
summer of 2022, I started mirroring, and for it's been about a year and a half, 2 years now, and
Yeah,
now
because
I'm
I think I remember when you first started that the Telegram, because I go in and out of Telegram. It makes me feel a certain way. But
yeah,
yeah, and now look, you have 51,000 images in there.
yeah, and I went from having nobody following me to like now almost 3,000 people
Do you
on
really?
Telegram and about 22,000 on TikTok.
Shush, do you really? That's what you were talking about. That's awesome. Dad, that's really cool. Um,
I'm happy that people are interested, man. I went from everybody thinking I was crazy to now everybody's seeing them now.
yeah.
So, and I
Oh,
love it. I love that it's because the intent is for them to I think we're on a disclosure path where we're all living in different realities because we co-create our realities.
mhm.
And one of the realities is that we're not alone. We have our guides and Meta-Terrestrial beings helping, assisting us here and watching us save our world and ourselves from ourselves. So we are, we are, that's going to change our reality and how we go about doing things and how we go about learning and teaching our kids in the future going forth on everything we do once this gets public.
Um, I love that, everything you just said. I have a question. If you had, let's say you had like a young brother and they didn't know anything about this, what would be the first thing that you would suggest to them, or how would you even address there being like off-world
Mhm.
entities more than just us? Because believe it or not, there there are a lot of people out there who are not open to this yet.
Mhm.
I know that, and it's crazy. I didn't think that that was possible. I thought, oh, for sure. Everybody knows now. This is what I
Yeah.
think. But when I communicate, not quite everybody is knowing.
Yeah, it's because the programming,
Right.
people want to get their information from sources that want to keep you down. The one thing I did was I had to unplug the TV. I had to put myself around people that vibrate at my frequency. Okay. So I literally moved to Florida to be around people like myself, um, that are patriots, that are spiritualists, they're awake, they're Reiki healers, they're psychics, they're astrologers. They believe in the same things that I do, and they support the same things I do. So that way our frequency matches the same. And then we have similar synchronistic experiences. Because when you're around people who vibe at a low frequency and they're programmed, it's like talking to a brick wall. And it's hard to get people to move when that's all they know.
Mhm.
Um, so you have to first get outside, get out your own way, get outside of yourself, look and be open to the possibility of the unknown, because there's so much that we just don't know, and that's coming to us now. And then once you do that, you'll start discovering things. Once you unplug from the matrix, it's like the world opens up and you start seeing a new sun, a new day, and your reality changes. And then what happens is when you get stopped getting told the things that aren't true, you start to soak in and see things for yourself. You co-create that reality, because we are co-creators of our reality. So my reality overlaps with your reality, but if you stop believing in the false reality, you'll start seeing the real reality transfold in front of you. And a lot of the younger children, I think, have those experiences when they're younger, but they were always told, that's not true, or that's not real, or you're just hearing things. And um, here, believe in Santa Claus, believe in the tooth fairy, don't believe in this. So,
That was
um, yeah, just get out, unplug out of that stuff, and put yourself around people who will support you and speak life into you, not speak death into you.
oh, can you just say that again? Because that was really nice. That
Yeah.
was beautiful. Like
I say, put yourself around people that will speak life into you and not death into you, because that's
speak
what we
life
speak.
into you and not
Mm-hmm.
death into
Yeah.
you.
Mm-hmm. Because
That's
we cast spells on each other all the time by speaking and our vibration
yes.
frequency.
Yes.
So when you say nice things to somebody, you're speaking life into them. You're raising them up. You're raising their frequency up, and that also unlocks different downloads within them. But when we talk to each other, put each other down, or we lie to each other, those things do other things too, and they do hurt us, even if we don't see it.
I'm going to end it on that because that was really good. That was really beautiful, Dab.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Blessings.
Blessings to you. Thank you so much. I'm gonna
Thank you for having me on.
if I could get all of your contact and your Telegram,
Sure.
I'll make sure to put it in the description
Mhm.
and all of your contact. Do you want to tell people how to get in touch with you?
Yeah, sure. I'm on Telegram at dadbrad100, at dadbrad100. I'm also on Instagram at dabbed in 5D. I have email. I'll send you all those links and stuff for that. And I also have a TikTok at dadbrad100. You guys can send pictures and video anytime of stuff if you're seeing stuff. And I do lives on my Telegram and TikTok, um, almost daily, almost
Oh,
daily.
cool. Okay,
So
cool. Okay.
thank
Well,
you for having me on the show. I
thank
enjoyed it.
you. I really
Blessings to you.
appreciate you. It's been an honor. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, wait. am going to end the recording.